Test, test, test. Gomers, can I get a little test from you, please, for your desktop?
Test, test, test.
Thank you very much. You guys will have to mute the stream. Test. Gomers, can I get a little test from you, please?
Yeah, why is it a gaming.youtube link?
Oh. Here, I can grab this one here. Try that one, guys.
You broke YouTube.
No. Yay. Okay, great.
What?
It sounds like it's working for folks. All right. All right, let's get started, shall we?
Yep.
All right. Here we go, folks, and welcome to our very first patron workshop. We're going to move through the content quite efficiently tonight. There are some things that we're going to cover that apply to both like guilds as a whole and individuals. And I'm curious how many people are officers or leaders in a guild. Let's start there. Can you? Okay, yes. I'm going to go to Discord. So I have Discord on my phone.
If you guys can't talk, you can't chat, and feel free to use that Patreon workshop text. It's right above the chat here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll use that for questions and stuff like that. If you can't voice, so just use that text channel. Yes, that one method, correct.
Yeah, just post in there if you're a guild leader or officer, just so I have an idea of what the proportion is. If there's like only a few officers / guild leaders, I might do like a little, Q&A later and go deeper into stuff that you guys might want to look at more, and focus a lot on Grand Arena, because I betcha that's where everybody's interest lies right now. All right, if you want to put...
How do we voice? Boner. Oh, he can't hear me. He's on the voice chat. What am I doing? Okay, I'm sorry. That was dumb. Okay.
You're texting him, okay.
All right.
Okay, he can hear us.
I can hear you. Huh? He's not even in the chat here. Go ahead, I'll figure this out.
All right. If everything goes right, we're going to do back-to-back workshops. The first one is defense. The second one is offense. And then after the offense one, we'll do some questions and we'll watch Good Old Maurice play his Grand Arena. Hooray! So it looks like we have a lot of officers in chat. And yeah, it might be a problem with his muting or something like that. All right, so let's go, folks. So yes, this is the TW and Grand Arena Patron Workshop. We're going to go through 3 parts. The first is kind of overarching management of TW. Some of this stuff is really nerdy, so forgive me because I really love it. Hopefully it's like useful to some people. And so it's a lot of kind of those 2 pieces, TW management and also management for your Grand Arena, because a lot of things apply to both. We're going to go through devious defense and then surgical offense. And I'll just say, we're going to record this. What's that?
Nothing, go ahead.
We're going to record this. So actually, if we do the Q&A, we might do, if we do voice at that time, then if you don't want your voice recorded, then we can shut it off or something like that. You can just PM me if you want. Okay, so I'm going to start with some overarching concepts. A lot of people are like, I want my guild to win. I want to put in, exactly what you guys are doing in my guild. Well, it's probably not going to work. You have to plan for the guild that you want, and you have to play with the guild you're in. That kind of sounds funny to say it out loud. Different guilds have different strategies, and you can take a long-term approach to kind of getting your guild where you want it. The wolf pack, I kind of humble brag about my guild. I've been getting some slack from that from my good friends, so I could try to stop that. But we came from very, very humble beginnings. We were like Order 66's garbage guild that just had like all of these like hodgepodge players. Our arena rank was in the 200s on average. And now we're, last I looked yesterday, we were second in the game. So we very gradually got there. I helped people. There's just a lot of learning to do. So you can take a big long-term approach to your guild. Again, you can plan ahead to create something, but your your Grand Arena and your TW needs to be based in reality today, and you're going to have to take an approach, an offensive one or a defensive one, based on how active your guild is, and this kind of skill levels and the diversity within your guild too. There's lots of notes here that I've kind of intentionally made these a little long-winded in here so you could go in and look a little further. Again, giving your guildmates direction. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't want to require farms or suggest farms. It's completely fine. Play the way you want. But you can do this, and it often is welcomed by people. And clear expectations also allow you to objectively coach people or kick them out if they're just like completely slacking and not doing anything that you want and everybody around them is working really hard. Okay. That's just kind of a really big eagle eye view of kind of managing TW in relation to your guild. You guys are welcome to ask me questions about that too. I'm known as being pretty brutal with my guild, but when I tell my guildmates that I'm known for that, they giggle because I'm a super softie in the guild, but I do set like really clear guidelines, and I will move people out if they don't reach them after months of working with them, sort of thing. It just causes too much conflict. I don't have time for that. All right, devious defense. The first thing is you want to prepare your roster. So modding a guild as a whole properly is key to winning territory wars. This is probably only done in like a 0.5% of the guilds in the game. We get to fight some of the very top 5 GP guilds. We haven't fought Team Instinct yet, but Legacy, Wolfpack is the boss. Who else did we fight? It was really good. OG Wolfpack before they were Wolfpack is the boss. But you learn a lot from these modding strategies, and when you mod your characters properly, all of a sudden the go-to for your counters, your hard counters, become not hard counters anymore. They become soft counters. An example of this is modding Bosk with like 100% tenacity. So Bosk, a hard counter to that is Emperor Palpatine and Vader. You bring Vader in, he's faster than Bosk. You throw dots on, you throw your saber, gives EP turn meter, the whole team gets turn meter, and off you go. But if you can't land those dots, if you can't stun Bosk, if you can't ability block Bosk, you're just screwed, and the match is over. So that's something we're going to talk about a little bit later, the potency tenacity checks. But those are some things that you can do for your whole guild, but you have to understand where your guild's at. You can't tell them to put 150 speed on everything if your average mod set is 50 or so. If you're a whaley in your guild, then find out who's average and ask them. Thankfully for me, I'm like at the bottom of my guild, so I know like the very baseline that people should be meeting.
Well, the GG site, some of you may know, some of you may not. If you log into GG, just click on your name and then go down and click on your guild. There are some tools here on the left that you can see. It says unit search, and if you're looking to see who has boss gear 12 and at least 1 Zeta, that's an option to do. And also there is a squad template here option at the bottom. You can click that, and if there is a squad that you want your guild to work on, you can create a squad that only your guild members can see and put the 5 characters in there. And then just instead of verbally writing it out or making like a fancy spreadsheet, all you have to do is simply link the squad templates to your guild, and then they can see it, and then you guys can work on optimizing mods and stuff from there. But a lot of people just don't know. A lot of people, you say field bounty hunters, and they have 5 bounty hunters and just put in what they have. Like, a lot of people play this game more casually than probably the 20 or so of us in here, right? But I mean, a lot of people play it casually, and they're not really up to speed on all the things happening in the guild. So this is a way to keep everybody on the same page. Just they can open it up and clearly see which 5 bounty hunters they need, which 5 first order, so on and so forth. So there are some tools within the website that really help guild officers manage everyone.
Mm-hmm. And there's some tools in our Discord server as well. I don't know if the guild ones are hooked up. I think they are, and you can check like if they're not, I'll see if we can get them in here. But you can check like the guild speed for everything. Like you can type in like comma G speed, whatever Revan, and it pulls up the speed of all your Revans, that sort of thing. So it makes it. There's a lot of tools that make some of the things that seem like I'm not gonna do that's crazy.
How about Darth Chiga's B2? Looking good, Darth Chiga. Looking good.
And then here's the
like
squad templates that Maurice was talking about, and that you use this a lot for your planning, hey?
More so for me. If you are an officer and you have in your inventory the optimal setup mod-wise, then you could make a personal loadout on your page and share it with the guild. Then they can click on it. Not only will they see the 5 characters, but they'll see the way you're suggesting to mod them. So,
all right.
Yeah, don't let me interrupt. You're
no. Interrupt me at any time. And just some notes in here, like be really concise. We have this bot that actually sends it's a bot that somebody created in our guild. It's amazing, that sends like the exact mods that we want on something, and then people do their own thing, whatever. If they're like, I want to do this, then fine, like be creative. Like I don't stifle creativity at all, but people were like, thank God, like that, just be concise and say this is what we want, and if you can't do it, then let me know. Okay, take stock of your opponent. Starting to move into some Grand Arena stuff. You have kind of 2 options based on how much time you have. The majority of guilds plan their defense before they start. So they just kind of think of what the like coolest defense is that they want to set, what's realistic for their guild, what's going to let them clear offense in the way that they want to. And they plan that all beforehand, and everybody knows the expectations, and that's fine. Other guilds will wait until their opponent is matched with them and then take an inventory of that opponent and make sure that some rough plan that's in place actually applies. So we'll go into that a little bit more, but take stock either way, because you'll benefit from knowing what to expect. So if you're up against a guild, you have your plan beforehand, and everyone's putting it in. Well, know, okay, they have this many Revans, so we need to be able to counter that, and hopefully you've planned for that in your defense beforehand. There's a number of things to check. This is a little bit of an insane section. So there's some notes that you could just read here. Revan is key because he's so hard to counter. He has very, very few reliable counters. Even mirror matches are, a roll of the dice a lot of times. It's getting easier for me now. I think probably a lot of that is just knowledge and practice. But you have to really... this is one of those places where you just have to meet your guild where it's at, right? Okay, like, are they going to practice, dozens and dozens and dozens of times in arena to get, Ventress Night Sisters or Mother Tales and Night Sisters to work reliably against Revan? And they're going to 60 mods and stuff for that. If they're not going to do that, then, you have to think of a different plan, Treya or holding Revan or what have you. So that's kind of the foundation right now for inventorying your opponent. It's going to change, I think, with C-3PO. It looks like CLS is going to be a very hard counter to Revan, and that's going to change Territory Wars a lot. I just say placing Revan is a gutsy move in Grand Arena, and because you don't have your guild to bail you out. So you really got to look. You have to look at your opponent in Grand Arena, because it just makes it, what matches you're going to win and which ones you're going to lose and which ones are a roll of the dice. So you just have to do that. Treya, what's the difference in the number of Treya? How proficient are your players in taking them down? When's the last time you saw Treya? Guilds that are like probably around 190 million GP and above. So like we haven't seen Treya in a long time on defense. So what are the odds that she's going to be down there? If she is, what's the backup plan for taking her out? CLS can do it, but you know, what if she's in the back zone? You know, you kind of have to plan for those things. Looking at Magma and Dooku is a really good measure of how TW focused a guild is. We almost have 100% of both of those in our guild. You know, and if we look at a guild that has, you know, 30 or 50% less than us, we're like, ooh, okay. It's kind of like, this is more chill guild that we're dealing with, who didn't like stupidly say farm Magma and Dooku for the 2 months that they were useful. They're not as useful now, but they were very, very useful at one point.
Well, for the smaller guilds, it can be really tough to counter Revan, because you just use the Magma Trooper example. You know, players in larger guilds have the resources to invest in kind of obscure characters. It can be kind of challenging sometimes to find a team that you can suggest, like a player with a roster of 2.5 million GP. It's a lot more difficult to make a suggestion to them to have counters. So you want to find something that's feasible and kind of will help them. Like if you're in a guild of, let's say, 100 million GP, you guys probably want to find and develop within your guild a counter that's going to work for Revan, you know, or Treya, whatever is the prevalent defense that you guys see. And then also you kind of want to make sure that team could work for dark side or light side territory battles. Perhaps the raid, if you guys are trying to tackle the heroic Sith raid for the first time, you want to build like universal teams as your counters. That can be kind of challenging, and we were here to help you with that. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And setting priorities for your guild too. If your guild hasn't conquered the heroic Sith raid, you just want to do that first. You know, winning territory wars is great and all, but that's going to net you way more stuff in the long run than this is. But the nice thing is that a lot of the teams, a lot of the hard counters are what you place or what you use in the raid. And some of this stuff, like check Stark's gear and their speeds, and like there's a lot of things that you can like boss. We're going to go into all of these a little bit later, so I'm just running through them. You can also look for like really tough teams, like the speed of their nests. Are they slow nests? Are they fast? If they're slow, that means they're using them as Revan counters. If they're fast, how are you going to deal with them on offense? Number of spirits tell you how many Revan counters they have in the guild. And then look for anomalies. So an example of this is Order 66, the 501st Division. We're looking forward to facing them in the war. And I was just like, so I snoop guild's rosters because I'm an idiot. And I was like, oh, I happened upon their Ewoks. Or somebody told me they had like tons of and I was like, oh my gosh, like if I hadn't noticed that and we went to fight them, they would just plow through our first order. So we would place Barriss with first order in that case, because it would make it much more difficult for them to use their Ewoks. All right. This is my favorite. Capitalize on the fear of the unknown. Creativity reigns in the era of offensively focused guilds. Guilds love to just hold lots of stuff and just cruise through using their like Treyas and their Rays and their Revens and just have absolutely perfect battles. But if you throw them off, they're used to it being a certain way, and if you throw them off, then they're not quite sure what to do. An example of this is a team that trickled down from Team Instinct, and we fought another guild, not Team Instinct, but it was their team, and it was Rex lead, Mace when Mace had the bonuses, Nest, Wampa, and a tank. So Wampa meant you couldn't CLS it because Wampa was going to womp the crap out of you. Mace meant you couldn't Treya it, or it was hard to. We ended up Treyaing it, but it was challenging. You had to be really careful, and we're trying to put isolate on Mace without triggering that to happen first. You couldn't use an AO. It was very, very tricky is my point. And so changing up teams, even if it's probably not in the long run like a more powerful team, you're just kind of messing people up and not letting them just go in and know exactly the steps to beat a team with the hard counter. And yeah, just go into here a little bit. A lot of times people will put very like put back-to-back zones. And this is kind of, sorry Chiga, sorry Smoke, but my one of my favorite strategies is to never put back-to-back zones in territory wars, because you're just, it's what's expected, right? And so, oh look, first order, and use your first, and then oh, another first order, and use your first order. But like what the tendency is that people will want to hold their counters because they don't know what's next. So if you're like in their face with like a crazy zone right up front, they're going to try and cheese their way through it. Especially inexperienced guilds will try and cheese their way through that first zone, hoping that whatever's behind it, or thinking whatever's behind it, could be worse. But it's often not. It's often easier in the back these days, right? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes Reva gets placed in the back depending on what guild we're fighting. But often it's just like right up front, come at me, or crazy teams like Night Sisters and that sort of thing on defense that people, that it's just a challenge to fight. And so I don't know if that makes sense, but making them fight the Night Sisters and them trying to like cheese through and use the counters that like, and hold on to their proper counters for what's next. And then, a next zone. And so they're, let's send Ewoks in for first order, even though maybe like 10% of them are going to fail because we want to keep our Ray for something else that's behind. So, yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see if I've got everything here.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, this is her expertise. I don't really have too much to add in terms of like guild management. We are far less intense as a guild, and
but that's very useful too, right? Like we talked about this before. Is that like how
just
you
different play styles? I'm not criticizing or making jokes. It's just like all this is really deep and thought out from a very very successful TW guild. So, and all this instantly applies to Grand Arena as well. Maybe not so much the guild management, but as far as preparing your rosters and, just thinking things out, having a plan ahead of time. It's actually easier for Grand Arena. She mentioned the team zones back to back, and the Grand Arena setting, like there's no mystery. Like, you open up TW and you see like a zone of Bastila and a zone of First Order, right? So you guys you can guess, but you really have no idea what's behind door 1 and 2. So you're in this weird stalemate of, do I need to hold this team? Should I use this team? But Grand Arena, you get to see, like for this one, for instance, you get to see half of your opponent's cards instantly. So you're a little more flexible in what you can use.
Mm-hmm. So, you get to see 66% of their cards, right? It's only a third. That's a third of the characters that aren't showing. Yeah, you're in the 4 million and above bracket. Where's the extra team? Is that up front or is that in the back?
It's right in front of ships. It's 3 in front of ships, 1 ship, and then 2 and 2 on the bottom.
Gotcha.
So you gotta beat 3 teams to get to the 1 ship, and then 2 on the bottom. Yeah. So yeah, 4 and 4 basically.
So I think this is the last slide in the defense section, and it's just about timing the flow of the board. This is actually my favorite part of TW. So you look at TW and it looks like you have the 2 zones up front, and then the 2 zones behind, and then the 2 zones behind that. But really, that's not what you have. What you have is the opportunity to drive them in a straight line. So instead of them opening 2 zones at a time and 2 zones at a time, you're basically forcing them, just by how difficult the teams are and by how limited the counters are to attack those teams, to go in a straight line. So the common, like a lot of guilds do this, like tons of guilds do this, like try and force someone to go bottom or force them to go top sort of thing. But instead of kind of putting like a cheese zone or something like that, what we might do is kind of lead them down a path where Revan takes a lot of time to go through. You have to have people show up for that, right? Same goes with Treya. Same goes with Night Sisters. Like, you're not going to have, like, First Order. I could send my guys and be like, go crazy. And they might have like 4 first order counters and off they go. But like Night Sisters, ugh, like who wants to take down 4 Night Sister teams? Like I've got my 1 Night Sister counter and it's like a very good counter and that's all I got. And, you know, I could do more, but this is my dependable counter. And so you're going to wait for those teams to come. So the more challenging teams will be slower and the easier, more common counters will be faster. And so it's kind of a matter of driving them one way or another and using an estimate of how long it's going to take them to get through a zone to drive them into a pattern, like on your territory wars table. And then also, this is something that I just didn't realize until really recently. This is so stupid. But because the zone in the middle at the back can be accessed through either one of the front zones, that zone below, which we call zone number 10, is like the last zone, right? It can only be seen one way. You can only get it south. You can't get it if you go north. And so, you know, like what you put in that zone is special, whether it's cheese and you want them to like get to it very last, or it's your hardest zone or whatever it is, but that's kind of what you think. And that's when you think of the Grand Arena board, that's what you're kind of trying to do, is that you only have one zone in this case to drain counters. So whatever you put in that zone that's before that back character zone is really important, because you want to drain the counters that are for that back zone. You want to make them, you know, kind of stumble on that one zone because they're holding for the back. They're expecting something. You know, if you have Revan and they don't see Revan up front, maybe Revan's back there, so they're going to hold not only their Revan but also their Treya, maybe another one just for, you know, like a little comfort blankie. And so you can play with that too. Or you can, you know, put it right up front and be like, here you go, try and get through these zones, and just not even, and then put cheese in the back, put like super strong zones in the front and cheese in the back. And then they're still not knowing what's back there and holding maybe more than they should. So yes, that is Devious Defense. I hope that was useful to people. There aren't a lot of like team suggestions, but we'll see a lot of that in the offense section, because we're going to go through counters and like hard counters to common territory wars teams, and you'll get a sense of what your guild and you as an individual can put on defense from the flexibility of a lot of the offensive teams. We've kind of broken them down into like universal counters and things that like are really flexible, and so those are the ones that you're going to want to keep, and then other ones go on defense, and you kind of play with what's left over in a lot of cases.
If you guys have any questions, I mean, you guys can speak. You know, it's not. I mean, your voices will be on YouTube. It is a private stream. If you have questions, you can ask, or just type it into the chat here. What ratio of teams do you recommend for offense defense? Well, I mean, I guess that comes down to the counters. I mean, there are teams that you use to counter certain teams that just aren't going to function properly on defense. I guess that's really the key to both of these game modes, is utilizing what characters aren't best on defense to counter those same characters, if that makes any sense. That's what we're kind of trying to do as we move into this offense section. And a lot of these teams are great for both. First Order is a traditional, you know, defensive team, but they're very, very solid on offense too. I mean, we made a video not long ago. Oh, it was a few months ago, but you can take out Treya with First Order. You can take out everything pretty much except Revan with your First Order team, and really, they're not very mod. You don't have to go too crazy on the mods for them because they generate so much turn meter for themselves. Do y'all see any value in putting your 2 best teams in the back zones in hopes of them underestimating your front zone and wasting strong teams on them? I did the absolute opposite, actually. I put, I don't know about you guys, but I put you'll see, we're going to try to do some gameplay here in a few minutes, but put Revan and my Night Sisters in the front, and then 3 kind of garbage teams up top. And they would drain lots of their counters, and then I put my pretty good first order and Kira team in the back. So hopefully the opponent would use everything that counters those teams early, trying to get through the hard stuff, and then they get to my first order and my Kira teams, which they're very good. I feel like I have very good teams in those factions, but there are hard counters for those teams. So hopefully, cross my fingers, he used them, and it did take him 2 battles to get through my first order, so it was semi-effective. We'll see. I might embarrass myself with this gameplay. I might lose this one. He did pretty well. So, see. Tips like 100% tenacity on Bosk. Yeah,
he was just asking.
Yeah,
he was just asking where do you get mod advice. I said we'll go through some of that next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Offense versus crit damage mods. That one is something. Let's see. I'll try to link you a graph for that while we move on here.
I heard somebody chatting in chat too.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How do you guys approach ships in GA right now? For me, no one at my GP level is going to be able to kill the best fleet on, like, their own best fleet on offense. So if you put your fleet arena team on defense, there's basically no way that you're going to clear your opponents. So it's an interesting question, I think.
Who's talking? I'm sorry, I can't see.
Method.
Okay. Yeah, ships are going to, all of Grand Arena, we're going to figure it out more and more as time goes on. Both Good Maurice and I were in the beta, and so we were able to play Grand Arena before it came out. So we have the benefit of, having some of that experience under our belts, but really it's just begun. So I think a lot of the strategy will start to pour out in the next maybe 3 weeks. We'll start to be like, oh, that's so creative, and look what this person did. Like, a lot of that creativity will come. I think though, for me, the goal is always to clear to the back, because it freaks me out when I don't. So like I'm always going to unless there's a strategy where if I prevent them from clearing ships and I know they absolutely won't clear ships and I have a good chance of clearing theirs, maybe I'll put something that's really strong in. But as a whole, and guilds kind of do this, it's like you just clear ships. So the instruction is set the best you can on defense, and you must win on offense, right? So don't get cocky.
Well, okay, for those that maybe were watching this replay, Big Bone Daddy asked, offense versus crit damage mods, and I posted a graph in our Discord chat here, and essentially what this graph shows is that 70% is kind of the cutoff where crit damage kind of starts taking over, and that sounds difficult to do, but there are many, many characters in the game that have even passive crit chance abilities. There are leadership abilities that grant extra crit chance, and they're also the crit chance up buff. We just did that video on the Scoundrels, and this is a great example. When Kira gives, lots of protection on crit chance, and if you throw her with, let's say, Han Solo and Mustache Lando, and maybe just like stacking crit chance characters like Young Han. There are a lot of characters that stack their crit chance. Nest, I think, does. Asajj Ventress is a great example of just stacking crit chance to where crit damage mods are more beneficial than offense. For Arena, though, maybe as we getting out of TW Grand Arena, I guess, but in Arena, we're in a very anti-crit meta right now. So offense is probably going to be the way to go, just because Treya and Revan both have crit immunity elements in their kits, and not to mention GK's annoying crit immunity buff he gives everyone all the time if you do manage to crit. So, yeah. All right, you want to move on to the offense? I'll try to answer some of these other questions coming in here.
Sure. Fatal asked one above somewhere. It was kind of sort of a question, not a question, but it was a question.
Well, to ships wise, to answer your question, I put a very, very strong fleet in. I think that ships are going to make, or at my GP, especially, ships are going to make or break your Grand Arena. Like if it takes them 2 fleets to clear your ship, then you've done well. Even if they lose a few ships, you can't. TW, you can kind of put softer fleets, maybe. But in Grand Arena, I am of the belief you need to put a really, really strong defense back there, just to try and milk some extra points out of that. I mean, I would love for somebody to put their Geonosians on defense in Grand Arena. That'd be great.
Shut up, that's what I did this time.
Basically,
I'm playing with
to...
someone. It's from looking at their roster. That's a decision you have to make.
I think the best advice is to cough up your Houndstooth on defense, and then try to develop, if you don't already have some developed some dispelling and some ships with either buff immunity. We did that on the stream not long ago. Like Wedge is an example, probably a ship everybody has, and then you've got TIE Reaper, another ship everybody has that can dispel, and it's very important. Fives is a very, very important ship because he dispels on his basic. If the opponent has a Houndstooth and puts the what is the name of that debuff? The special the bounty hunter debuff. I can't think of the name right now.
Breach.
But the bounty hunter debuff where boss continues to taunt, you can
Breach?
use an assist ability to shed
me?
it off boss. What?
I said breach.
Breach, yes. Yeah, so you want your boss to get breached because then you can use an assist move or a countering mechanic to get rid of it, and then you can dispel their opposing Houndstooth with 5. So you guys probably have ships in your inventory that will do the trick. It's just kind of putting those Omegas on them, getting them to the level where they're going to be competitive in Grand Arena. So field your Houndstooth on defense and develop buff immunity and dispelling ships. Gauntlet Starfighter is a very, very good one, but that one is a little unrealistic.
One thing that I noticed going into this Grand Arena is that the ship sector is actually worth slightly more for conquering. So in my head, it made sense to try and defend my ship sector with my strongest squads in front of it because it's worth a little bit more to protect it.
Yeah, we're still learning, man. This is the first real Grand Arena we've had. So then, especially this is the first one with ships we're playing right now. So we're gonna learn a lot, and we got some real like just masters of efficiency in this Discord. I mean, somebody's gonna have a great answer probably within 3 or 4 days of what the best, at least starting, strategy is. So,
all right.
Oh, there we go. That's awesome. Thank you.
Go to somebody's something.
Yeah. We don't want to keep you guys too long. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, surgical offense is in 2 parts. I'm going to breeze through the first part pretty quickly because the second part is super practical and I'm really keen on it. So yes, these 5, again, preparing rosters, practice and accountability, prime the guild, shepherd the war, super geeky I know, and follow up on everything. So prepare rosters. Again, it's done holistically with your defensive setups, and depending on what kind of guild you are, what kind of person you are, you're going to weight your mods to the approach. Defense versus offense. You might be like a player that has enough mods to perfectly mod your whole roster, maybe, but probably not. So me personally, I've taken some like teams that I really like and that I think are kind of sleeper teams like bounty hunters and just piled my mods onto Bosk. So he's got super high tenacity. He's quite fast. I think my Bosk's 268, and all of my opponents in Grand Arena have not had a Stark that's faster than him or a Palpatine that has enough potency to overcome him. So, you just have to think about that for defense, but you also have to think about that for offense as well. Practice and accountability. So, we beg people to go, to basically have counters for different things. Months ago that was Treya, now it's Revan. And there's a whole mess of counters for Revan. If you don't have Revan, you're actually in a really good spot because very soon, hopefully, you will have Revan, but you're going to be an ace at taking Revan down. You're going to laugh in the face of these lazy people who have been using Revan in Arena for the last 4 months and have to hold him very gently while you can put Revan down on your defense, no problem in Grand Arena. A great thing to do is to find arena buddies if you're in the top 50 consistently, they'll kind of be stable up there and who'll change out teams for you. But if you can't find anyone, just fall. Put Hermit Yoda in as the leader, nobody else, and everyone's going to be like, hooray, and just fall down to, in the 60s and 70s if you're, in the top 10, and because you get to fight a diversity of guilds. So if you're already down there, you're fighting that all the time. Take advantage of it. You're going to know your counters really well because you can fight, so don't be like, I'm only fighting CLS because I know how to do that with my CLS. Well, try and take down Night Sisters with CLS, which is don't recommend. Or, try and take down Night Sisters with your EP and really change it up for yourself because you're getting so much practice down there. Set an example within your guild, show off videos of your counters, show off your mods, that sort of thing. If you don't want to, we don't really require anything anymore within the Wolfpack. I think Bastila was the last thing that I asked people to farm, and also mods. I've been asking people to have like one mod for, 150 mods, I think, minimum, which is low for some of the top rosters, but just as a minimum to get people up there. But you could just do so much more by just bragging about your stuff. Like, look at the mod I got by slicing. And people will be like, what? This started out as a white mod. Like, no way. So just kind of, share and get your community jazzed about things that you want them to be jazzed about. And again, you can't plan if you don't know what you have. So make an inventory. If you have, for your own personal self, what's my win percentage for Revan? Is it 50%? Well, I'm going to need 2 Revan counters if I don't have Revan in hand, or if I want to place Revan on defense. And then with your guild, you have to find a way to figure out what everybody has, because you can't be like, let's place Revan, and then like, oh gee, no one actually did what I said and found a Revan counter that's not Revan, so we're stuck without clearing ships because we can't get through these Revan. This is just a little thing. Guild leaders can read this. I think I have 11 officers in the Wolfpack. People tease me about it all the time. Anyone who wants to contribute can be an officer. And it's just, I have that if I need to leave the game. There's lots of people who I can leave the guild with, who I trust. And there's lots of people who I trust who can do things. We have a little system where we have squads. So I think we have 5. I don't know if Angel's in chat now. Angel's the boss of me in Territory War, so I bring him my wins and shamefully bring him my losses, and we talk about it and what happened, and Scavray died right away, probably shouldn't have brought her in, she was modded too slowly, or whatever it is. And so we go through those things, and we just make it really positive though, try not to make anyone feel bad, because we want people to improve, and improving is only going to happen when people tell you when they screw up. What are you giggling about?
Yes.
Okay, and then goals and timelines. That's just referring to counters and Revan. So everybody needs to have a Revan counter that works 50% of the time by January the 15th or whatever.
Well, that's your number one priority.
It really is.
Well, in TW, yes, but I mean, if somebody in your guild is an overachiever and has 2 Revan counters, maybe you could specialize in another area. I don't know, but in Grand Arena especially, your number one priority is to be able to beat Revan without using Revan. Because if you can place, like she mentioned earlier, if you can comfortably place Revan on defense in Grand Arena, you're going to have a huge leg up against the opponent. There's no guessing game every Grand Arena. There's no stressing and biting your nails. Should I place Revan? Should I not? You can comfortably put Revan down. Just slap him right in the front zone. Who cares? Just put him wherever you want. And then you can go in there with – and the list of teams are growing, what you can beat Revan with. You can beat him with Night Sisters. You can beat it with Rey to some extent. You can beat it with your Treya teams. I mean, that Darkside Bastila came out, and she helped counter Revan instantly. A lot of people use her. The guy I'm facing, he had a Revan Arena team, but I clicked on his inventory last night, and he had switched it out to Treya, presumably practicing for my Revan team, which he did beat. It took him 2 tries to beat it, but that's better than 1. You know what I mean? So it all adds up in such a small map that we have here. If your Revan team can get you a hold every time, then you've got an advantage. So, and as the time goes on here, and especially once everyone else gets Revens, we're gonna have some more options in terms of that for you guys. But right now, it is kind of limited. But just you can practice every day in arena. Same thing if you guys were lower GP and then lower guilds, you'd probably be facing different teams. Whatever, just go in your arena shard. Whatever teams are consistently at the top, those are probably the teams you guys need to prepare for and be able to beat consistently without a mirror team, if you will. So,
and don't be afraid to refresh. Like I'm sure every single person in our guild does the 50 refresh. Like every single person, I do it every single day. Even if I'm at first, I'm like, ooh, I haven't done my refreshes yet, and I'll play all of the teams below me from first place, even though I have nowhere to go. So yeah, that's the place to practice. That's not Grand Arena. Don't practice in Grand Arena, but you can, right? It's really a no loss other than to you and our pride. Oh, goodness. This Prime the Guild, this is just you gotta stop people from feeding turn meter. Like that's got to be your first priority. If you have 5 teams that have fed turn meter, you're probably wasting 50 awesome like semi-meta or meta squads trying to clean that up. Don't let it happen. There's only a couple teams that you can allow turn meter to be fed on. One is Treya, actually. If you go in with Treya and you take all the protection, if you have someone that has magma, because of the cooldowns for Scion and Nihilus reset, you can go in and just like clean up that team like nobody's business, assuming that not Annihilate, because Annihilate will not, the cooldown's refreshed, so it won't go off right away, assuming that Isolate, that she doesn't isolate magma. That's a pain in the ass. So yeah. So we kind of have policy. This is just an example of what I post when I remember to post it before a war, about feeding turn meter and working on airplane mode. If you don't know how to work on airplane mode, we will gladly teach you so you can teach your guild. And then the only team that's an exception to killing, you got to kill at least one toon to post, is Night Sisters. Night Sisters do not post unless you kill the leader. Like you just can't. They're so nasty. Like just you got to kill them from full, or unless you take out Ventress or Talzin.
I don't know how you do it on an Android, but let's say you don't do. We all know, we've all played this game, and we all know when the battle starts getting out of control, sometimes you don't get another turn, right? It's just over. That's how people leave turn meter. I know on an iPhone, if you just quickly double tap the button and force close the game real quick, that works as well. Like you can just force close the app before the battle's over, and it will take the full 5 minutes to finish. So you probably don't want to do that if there's like 3 minutes left in the territory war, but that is a way I do that myself quite often.
Or you can,
like,
you know how you pull down the top, I don't know if you do this in iPhone, like if you pull down the top to like change your, like turn on your flashlight, or like all the buttons at the top. Do you have that on iPhone?
yes.
Yeah, so if you pull that down, it automatically puts the game on pause. So if you're like, oh crap, did I do airplane mode? Just like pull it down really quick, and then you can see if you put it on airplane mode, and it'll also pause the game. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. And you can also do that if like a Revan team is going crazy and you're like, oh crap, Jolie's gonna revive everyone. You just pause it, and then just wait it out. And
now that, while we're on that if you guys are struggling with Revan, that is a excellent way to cheese Revan. You go in there and you kill one character, preferably Revan, but if you can't get Revan down, we'll say Grandmaster Yoda. You kill him, and you have no chance of actually winning the battle, right? You go in there, your main goal is just to kill Revan or Grandmaster Yoda. You go in and you kill that character, and then you put your phone down on the table, and you go have a snack, go use the restroom, come back 5 minutes later, and the battle will time out, and Yoda or Revan are gone, and Jolie can no longer revive that character, and you can go in and clean it up with a far inferior team like Wigs, for instance. Like if you guys are really having trouble with Revan, go in there with the mission of killing a character and letting the battle time out. It's a very cheesy strategy, but it's effective.
And that's
especially for the. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say you can do that for Night Sisters too.
You
Like,
can do that for any team. Yeah.
for any team. Like that's a good one though, because they keep reviving each other and reviving each other. You just like, you know, if somebody has fed turn meter too, you just kill one, leave it. Kill another, leave it.
For any team, yeah. Just if you can get Treya down, and you're going to lose the match. You know, I don't know. Any team it works with. Just if you guys are really, especially if you have a real top heavy guild, and you know, like the top 10 people in the guild are kind of relied upon to take out the strong zones. It's very tough. I have a pretty large roster. And it's very difficult for me to take down 2 Revan teams, right, without just completely depleting everything I have. So if you go in and you can kill, you know, one key character, just time it out. And you can even let other people in the guild clean it up. Then, you can assign people to do that. Like if you have a person that can go in and kill 5 Revans and just let the mode time out, then you could have maybe some of the smaller guys go in and finish the team off. It's not going to be very efficient, but you will clear the zone. It's a lot better than not clearing the zone and just getting destroyed. Because getting destroyed is not good for morale. I mean, there's been quite a few TWs we go on a losing streak and get demolished, and then a couple guys like, I think I'm going to go to Team Instinct. Like, all right. Mind Tricks his guild gave us a good ass whooping not long ago, but they tried to be nice. Oh, you guys did great on defense. You guys cleared our board in 3 hours, man. Come on, appreciate it. But yeah, so that's a little tip to hopefully bring home to your guild if you guys are struggling versus any opponent.
So just a couple more slides before we get to the practical stuff. Just shepherd the TW. I close all the zones as soon as it starts, or like one of the officers does, and then kind of. But again, this is up to you. It's up to like how you want to run your guild. If you want to just be chill and like, you know, let people go in and you know do what they want, and that's how you do best at clearing the board and getting through stuff. Awesome. And you don't want to be there 24 hours because like I'm there all the time basically. If I'm not there, then I have to say like, you know, well, so and so will you like watch the board, because you can't have like people waiting while a zone is closed. But it's just an example there, like for zone 6 we'll use this and that and blah blah blah. Like we assign hard counters for the zones so that people know what to use. People will go rogue. Yeah, I have a hard time dealing with that. Just gonna let it happen as long as they win. My rule is, if you go in with a team that was not requested and assigned, then you lose. I don't care if you win, fine. If you lose, you will change your avatar to Justin Bieber for a week. So that's the punishment for doing that. And it's
Well, okay, real quick, another strategy that we're actually considering using. In my guild, we have guys that it doesn't look like they're participating on offense just because they really struggle with Revan. If you guys are wanting to kind of track participation, you can block a zone off, but it's technically open. That way it will track. Like let's say Fatal, you know, he doesn't have any banners, but he's tried 3 times against the Revan team. You can see that if you do block the zone off, because then he will have 3 rogue actions. Going in and at least you can see that people are trying, and just instead of opposed to just like not caring and not doing anything at all, because it can be difficult to beat Revan. If you have one Revan counter and you lose with that counter, I mean you can waste 3, 4, 5 teams trying to take that team down. So it is kind of, you know, there are people in your guild that are getting 0 or really low banners, but it doesn't mean they're not necessarily trying. You know, you can either see that they're trying, or you can maybe even reach out and try to help them a little bit because you see that they're willing to put in the time and effort. They just can't. They're just not quite there yet. So that's one way to see who's doing what.
Yeah, and it just shows under rogue actions.
Yeah. We're considering doing that. Just it's getting a little silly. But,
we have done that before. There's a lot of, and I like that. It's a great way to kind of take inventory of what's going on, especially if you're having trouble with like turn meter being fed. People are not going to feed turn meter in a zone that's like got a red X on it. People just like more careful with that.
Just be prepared to answer lots of tags in your chat. Why are both zones closed?
Why are people hitting a closed zone? Yeah. And this is just kind of a slide on, you know, know when to push, when know when to chill. You know, if it's like a game that you're gonna win, chill out, you know, let them do what they want. If it's a game that's going to be super close, you know, you might want to send more messages, do more at everyone tags in your guild, etc., etc. But the secret, this is the secret to my success. I PM people. That's all it is. We've had wars that have been so close, and I just PM people. Like, the bottom 10 people in points very nicely, because who knows, like, I don't want someone to come back and be like, I emptied my whole roster, like, F you, I'm trying. Like, so it's just like, hey, we really need some help. I'm curious if you have any teams left. Could you please come help if you're able? And then, like, I'll do that. I'll send, like, I'll just copy and paste like 20 people, and then within like 10 minutes, you'll just see everybody show up in the zone. It's nice. And then just the last one's kind of related to that, is just follow up with everything. Like, sometimes if you have someone feeding turn meter, you got to sit in there or tell your officers, let's watch the board until we figure out who it is, because it's going to lose you matches. It sounds stupid, but you just gonna have to bite the bullet, figure out who's doing it, follow up with them, and make sure that you're teaching people and moving the guild forward. Okay, part 2. This is the fun part. Ready? Game mechanics. Universal counters. Gom and T-Money's favorite counters, the importance of mods and hard counters. Let's go. Good old Maurice, you take this. I'm going to go get myself a diet beverage, and I'll be right back while you talk about game mechanics.
All right. Seeing as I don't have the YouTube open, I don't have any idea what slide we're on, but what I do know is, you know, we talk about the characters, and we talk about factions, and we talk about Zetas, we talk about everything on the streams, and all the talking heads on YouTube talk about characters, but really what it boils down to is the core mechanics of the game often are overlooked. Like, turn meter manipulation is what wins this game. Whatever team removes or adds to themselves the most turn meter, 9 times out of 10 can probably win the match. You want to look for characters that manipulate turn meter, and leaderships especially that manipulate turn meter. Even the old dated Darth Vader, Asajj Ventress, even the leaderships that remove turn meter from opponents are going to be the best, because A, they're effective, and B, it allows you to kind of skimp on the speed. Like, if you can remove lots and lots of turn meter, you don't need the secondary speeds that some of these other factions do. And there's also core, like, on offensively, this applies more to offense, but there are core, like, I don't want to say required, but there are debuffs that are just far, far better than others. If turn meter is the, you know, best buff debuff in the game, then you probably are going to want to bring lots of days to the battle. Days just prevents turn meter. We saw the C3PO is going with 2 stacks of, I believe it's Confuse, will prevent turn meter just like Days does as well. Preventing turn meter gain, preventing countering, preventing assists, because now the game is getting very, very complicated, very complex. The characters that counter, a lot of these characters have effects on their basic attacks. So if they counter, if they assist, not only are they doing damage, but they're doing, you know, bonus benefits to their team, to themselves, whatever the case may be. So you just completely nip that in the bud. So Days is something that, if you guys are trying to decide between character A and character B has Days, you probably want to go with character B in most instances. Days is very effective. Buff immunity, we mentioned it for the ships earlier. It's just as important in the character part of the battle too. Especially, you have all these Jedi that are just going berserk with the buffs, and you can just shed them. You can shed them. Like B2 is a great example. You can dispel, and then you apply the buff immunity on top, preventing them from getting any more buffs. Buff immunity is a great debuff. You should try to have a few elements of that in your, you know, roster somewhere. That's always nice to have. Like, a lot of times in Grand Arena TW, you know, you're getting down to the bare bones, but you got 4 rebels left. Well, who do I use as a 5th? Any character with buff immunity, any character with Days, any character with turn meter manipulation is great. Defense down is a debuff that's often overlooked, because there are lots of cleanses in the game. But if you utilize defense down correctly, you apply the defense down, and then you try to do massive burst damage while that character has defense down. It does a significant amount of damage. You know, we see on a lot of these kits, C3PO has one as well. You know, one of his, on raid bosses, it does negative 50% defense. does not stack with defense down because defense down is just that good. It's a very, very good debuff to have. Also, healing immunity, especially if you're playing, we talk about Night Sisters a lot. Healing immunity will shut the Night Sisters down, especially with Asajj Lee. That just shuts them all the way down. Very, very, very good debuff that you guys should probably have a few characters that do so. I know we have all sorts of, we have a wide range of GP in this chat. So, but it's you know, it's pretty important. You know, if you have like a 1.5, 2 million GP, you know, you got hundreds of characters to choose from now in the game, and just finding characters with those debuffs it can make or break you. Just short term and long term.
Hundreds.
Um,
Hundreds.
Yeah, yeah. If you're a brand new player, yeah, and you have like Princess Leia, and you've got Farm Boy Luke and a Jawa, you've got hundreds of other characters to choose from. Which ones do I do? You know, and then also, I mean, I say obvious, but the more obvious ones, like characters like taunting tanks. Tanks are very, very important, especially in Grand Arena. Especially in Grand Arena, like I have to face 7. I have to play 7 defenses, so that means I probably need 7 taunting tanks, and that's just for defense. I'm going to need even more for offense, especially tanks that will pre-taunt, like Baze, Shore Trooper, L3, and then the ones that also passively taunt. They don't require a turn to use their taunt. GK, Zalbar's one. I'm sure there's some others on the Royal Guard, you know. So there's lots of options, and you can build lots of. We talk about factions a lot, but you can build makeshift teams just using some of those core mechanics we just mentioned.
Did you go through just the examples?
I don't have the YouTube. I've got so much over my computer right now.
I'll just go quickly through the examples. So
Yeah.
the examples are Imperial Troopers require buffs. If they can't get buffs, then they don't get turn meter. So if you use buff immunity on them, then they are in trouble. That's why you see B2 with a lot of bounty hunter teams, because he spams buff immunity. Crew and Barris and healing immunity, those guys have passive healing mechanics, making them very hard to take down. Once you get healing immunity on Barris, whew, easy peasy. Darth Nihilus, Nest, Thrawn, and of course Daze stops them from countering, which is their, most dangerous. Nest and Thrawn stops them from countering, which is their most dangerous mechanic, and then Darth Nihilus gains tons of turn meter when Traya gets debuffed. And so a lot of the teams that like alternate Traya teams that are designed to take them down are debuff based, and so and turn meter manipulating, so you have to make sure Darth Nihilus cannot get a turn. Everyone in turn meter removal, I'm sure you went over that turn meter removal and its importance.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, but it does seem to be a trend that they're giving characters immunity to turn meter removal, like Jolie. If that's a continuing trend, then we might have to retouch on this. But for now, 100%.
All right.
Most important element in the game: turn meter removal and addition.
Rock, scissors, paper, dynamite. Universal counters. This slide is super dope. Maybe it's because I'm nerdy, but I love this slide. So down the first column are like a bunch of counters that counter a lot of different things. Now, some of them require a lot of familiarity with the faction itself. They require certain mods on the characters that you may or may not be able to field. And did I say knowledge? They like gear level knowledge. Like you might have to have a really bumpin' team in order to have your first order team take down Traya. Is it possible? Yes, it is. So these are the universal counters down the side here. Whether they're easy, the first column, the little dots indicate whether they're easy ones. Don't even really need mods on Traya. My Traya is modded so poorly right now. Maybe they're challenging. So you need to have like really good arena mods on that team to make it happen. And then there's like the extreme or limited ones where you have to have amazing arena mods and mad skills. So, I put prep in this because Godo Maurice has taken down Revan with prep teams and that sort of thing. So these are teams that they can be done. We had one of our patrons show us video of him taking down Treya with imps, which is awesome. And then First Order again. That one might be in the challenging column because it's a team that I, without remodding, went in and took down a Treya on my first try. So it's, it is very doable, but I find it challenging to take down Bastila with First Order. So it's a little bit more iffy. When you're looking at this, these, the teams that are going to be universal counters are going to be the ones that you rely on for your offense and that you can play on offense or defense either way. However, some of them, like Zeta Finn, like the Imperial Troopers, that's about it. Do not put those on defense, ever.
No, do not put Zeta Finn on defense.
I will go as far as to say, if you put those on defense, we can't be friends anymore. You just can't do it. Don't do it. They're just so easily, because it's such a finesse team. Any team that takes a lot of finesse on offense the AI is not going to play it properly. The Ewoks are arguably in here. It's actually an oversight. They probably should go on here as well because they would probably be extreme or limited. They can't take down Treya, but they can pretty much they can take down most other things. So sorry about that, Ewok lovers. That's a oversight on my part.
Yeah, and he just asked in the chat here, Prime Force, what no guild Ewoks?
Oh, did he? Sorry about that. Yeah. All right. These are our favorite offensive teams. These are teams that I'll almost always have in my pocket for offense. And the little stars just indicate which ones Maurice and I kind of share in common.
Yeah, and just we mentioned Zeta Finn. Some of these teams, Zeta Finn, Imperial Troopers, the droids, they do require like a facilitator, if you will. First Order officer for First Order is an excellent example. Poe for Zeta Finn. The faster that you have your Poe, the faster you have your Stark, the faster you have, your Jawa engineer, whatever team you like to use, the faster that character is, the more options you'll be able to tackle, especially in TW. Like if you have a lightning fast Poe, like I have a pretty well developed roster, and Poe is still like the 7th or 8th fastest character in my entire inventory, because that allows me to basically, whenever we open a new zone, if it's a team that's susceptible to Zeta Finn, I can go in there and take out the very, very best team that they have on the board, or at least try. I have a nice shot at taking out the best of the best, and maybe some of the other guys, their Poe's not quite as fast, and they'd go in and lose their Poe, where they could have easily just taken down another team, and we could have cleared the zone quick. So if you do build a team such as the Imperial Troopers, such as Zeta Finn, such as Ewoks are a great example, so we don't leave them out again with Paplu. You want the faster your facilitator is, the better, the more, I don't know, you're better.
The more opportunities you have to take down a team with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gums.
So, and that's something you can do for your guild. If you guys, there's no sense in 50 of you having lightning fast Poes. Maybe 25 of you could have lightning fast Poes. The other 5 put those mods on another faction, like Paplu or Stark. For instance, you have 25 people ready to take out 2 different zones instead of 50 people just ready to just crossing their fingers. That the First Order zone opens up. So,
Godo Maurice has his Finn at, what is it, 280 speed?
What about Poe? Let's see.
Poe, pardon me, your Poe.
He's pretty fast. Yeah, Finn is about 150. Yeah, but that's some of those teams, Imperial Troopers, Ewoks, Zeta Finn. If you just have to invest the speed in one character, that's it, and all the rest just go. They'll get their turns. Resistance Trooper just keeps going and feeding Terminator the whole team. You only need to, instead of investing speed in all the characters like you might in your Jedi or your Sith or some of these other meta teams, you can just invest it in one character. Poe is 279 speed.
And what's your potency on him?
blah blah blah. 85.
So you have to be able to field that team, but it's go back and there's a video that is a very poorly watched video. I think it's one of our best, called Nest makes Treya disappear without a turn. Nest and Zeta Finn make Treya disappear without a turn. It was right when we started, and that teaches you like all of the mods that you need for your resistance team. And it's only Finn needs, or pardon me, only Poe needs speed. Just like Gomery says, everybody else, you don't even need speed arrows on them. You just need, you can have offense arrows that have like really nice potency secondaries, for instance, on resistance trooper and resistance pilot. So those are really cool. That's a really cool team to build. It's not super reliable, and I don't allow it in our guild in Territory Wars because people have to know how to use it or it will fail. And so there's certain people that just go rogue and they love their Finn, and they're like, that's fine, I just turn a blind eye. Like, if that's how passionate you are about a team, like, who am I to stop you? But like, I will never call for Finn to be used unless we are desperate. So, because it's so, like you were talking about First Order, like things can just go sideways so fast. Like if you don't land, if you don't land and exposes on the first, or you don't land buff immunity on crew or crew counters, it's like...
which hopefully we won't all witness happen here in a few minutes.
Yes.
but yeah, we're by no means suggesting stop what you're doing and get Zeta Finn. That's, if you don't have Zeta Finn, there's probably better options now, but many of us have that have played the game while Zeta Finn, and he might be neglected. You kind of forgot about him. He is definitely worth brushing the dust off in terms of Grand Arena, and definitely not for the Wolf Pack, because apparently you get kicked out if you use it.
I turn a blind eye to the Finn fanatics, but if it's like, okay, that's the third time you've gone in and failed with your Finn team, you're benching that until you go and freaking practice in Arena, because something's going on, dude, like a remod or something. So.
All right, Boner Daddy has asked twice now, what is Imps with Pimp?
Imps with Pimp, baby. That's the Imperial Troopers with Range Trooper. The other name for Range Trooper is Pimp Trooper, because he's got that fur and those boots. He's hot. He's awesome. So
how do you know he's hot? He's wearing a full getup.
I don't care, man. Look at how he's dressing. He's ridiculous. It's my taste in men is ridiculous. So Rey, I love Rey. She counters everything. Imperial Troopers with Range Trooper. I just brought Snow, Veers, Stark to gear 12. I still have short gear 11, which is a little iffy. And then I have Death Trooper. I have my troopers are pretty good, and I've pulled lots of mods onto Stark. He's 272, I think, and I just love it. There's not many bounty hunters that can get past me. If Bosk is 300% tenacity, Imperial Troopers love that, because they do not give a crap about tenacity. They're just going to mow you over with brute strength and get their turn meter train going. So it's a great team to have as a counter, but they do have to be, there's kind of a breaking point. You need to, I think it's the same with Zeta Finn. You have to have your troopers geared really well, or they're going to fail on you. I love taking Treyan with just 4 teams, leaving that last squishy one out of the mix, because they're not going to do anything anyway for you. I really miss Thrawn Magma. I practice it in Arena all the time. I will love seeing Treya on defense. I'm like, hooray! But lots of people in my guild are like, hooray, because we all for Magma, so I have to fight people for it. Last time we saw Treya, I did not get to take one down.
Well, that's for you and I. So, I mean, some of the players in here with lower GPs might see Treya consistently on defense. So I mean, we posted the video earlier. You can beat it with Thrawn Magma relatively easily with some practice. You will have to practice, but it is a reliable counter for Treya. So we posted that video up in the chat a little bit ago if you guys are curious about that. So
I can tell you how to mod that too, because since we made that video, I know how to mod them. We didn't really know how to mod them then, and just didn't kind of mention it in that video, but now I know exactly how to mod that team. So, and then Night Sisters are great on offense. I often lose them onto defense, and then CLS, just because my CLS team is pretty crappy. So I like them.
All you need is about
offense.
3,500 stun cuffs laying around for Magma Trooper. That's the only downside.
But you can use Magma. Go practice in arena with him. Like if you have him gear 9, practice in arena. Gear 10 is better because there's a scanner, MK7 scanner at gear 10 that gives him 10% more potency, and you need to try and get his potency up to as high as you can, preferably it's between 70 and 90%, but you still need some speed on him so he can recover if something happens. If gosh, like I've been able to recover from my Thrawn fracturing my leg, that sort of thing. And lots of people mod him with like high tenacity. I don't believe in that way to mod him, because then he's always hitting, what's his name? Scion. And the potency is just allowing you to get over top of the fact that Scion has 100% tenacity when he has his taunt up. So you're trying to reduce turn meter against 100% tenacity. You're not going to do that every time. You might do that every second time if you have high potency. You might do that no times if you have low potency. Blah, blah, blah. The importance of mods. So this is what you want to look at when you're looking at somebody else's roster. So, and this boner, am I allowed to say that? With a B. Yeah, just the importance. There's 2 slides here: speed check and potency check that you need to go through. So if your Stark is faster than their Bosk or their Ventress, you have to calculate speed leads in, right? Stark gets 25 or 20. I always check
Veer's lead provides 20 additional speed, and then it's 10% turn meter per buff. So Starks goes first, and he gives the 2 buffs, which it doesn't look too sexy in terms of an Omega, but when you put that ability, the Omega gives him the second buff. When you put it in the context of the team, it's essential. That's definitely an Omega you want to put on Stark. And then, it gives 20% turn meter on top. So, you want Veers going right after him.
So
it's pretty...
No,
what'd you say?
Go ahead, go.
Yeah, basically, if you see a character that gives X amount of turn meter and you want somebody to go immediately following him, just make the second character, like Starks, for instance, gives 2 buffs, and under Veers, that will grant 20% turn meter. So that means your Veers just needs to be 20% speed slower than your Stark. And then if whoever you want to go third, make them, 21 to 22% slower than Stark, and just kind of have it go down. That's how you build a proper turn order. If you can help it, you don't want Stark to throw up those buffs and just have 2 or 3 characters going. Like, you want to have a kind of a set routine of A, because it's there are optimal ways to run teams, and B, you just get used to it. You'll be able to beat more teams with it because you know exactly how to play the team. So I mean that is how you build a turn order in utilizing turn meter games, which we talked about a few minutes ago being so important. You just clock your characters in order that you want them to go. In the Imperial Troopers, it's pretty simple. If you find the right speed for Veers where he goes second every time, just make your characters 1 speed slower or 2 speeds slower, just all the way down the line. A great way to practice turn order and making sure you have it set up properly is just go into your first Battle of Galactic War, pop off a couple moves, just see if they go the way you want them. If they don't, retreat, rebot them a little bit, tweak the speeds, and go back in, try again until you have the right turn order. That's something we've stressed in a lot of our videos, that Biston video, just about all of them. We do try to focus on turn order over maybe recommending certain speeds. Because if I can get my Stark to go 270, that doesn't mean somebody with a 2 million GP can do that. It's all relative to where you are in the game in terms of secondary speed. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And so if your Stark is faster than Bosk or Ventress, Imperial Troopers are hard counters to both of those teams, then if you're going first, you're getting the upper hand with that turn meter. And as long as you can keep the turn meter train going and you have enough damage at your side, then you're very likely good to go. If your Stark is 1 tick of speed slower than Bosk or Ventress, you cannot use that team against those guys. You can't. It's game over for you. There's no way that you're getting your turn meter train going by trying to take down Bosk with your Imperial Troopers. You need to hit someone who's squishy so you can kill them and give everybody turn meter. And you need to be able to hit Greedo or 88 or whoever their squishy tune is. And on defense, you can protect against Imperial Troopers by just putting a pre-taunter in with your bounty hunters, and then they're kind of screwed because you have to I have to point at bays now. So if you have a high tenacity Bosk with a pre-taunter, then you're going to have trouble using Palpatine. You're going to have trouble using Imperial Troopers, and so you're going to have to turn to CLS, which is, you probably want to save that for something more than bounty hunters, but you might have to go to Imperial Troopers or CLS or Rey, or use a team that's kind of a little bit more it's a better team, to like a more meta team to take down something that you should be using somewhere else. BB-8, you can take down Revan with Rey teams if you have a slow nest, and there's a video of that. I put a video of that a couple of days ago in the of my arena climb with Rey in the exclusive Patron videos. I'm supposed to be making a video on that, but I haven't done it yet. And then Kylo and First Order Officer again. If you're Kylo Ren masked, or OG Kylo is faster than your BB-8 or your First Order Officer is, then you might have some trouble. The turn meter train can get away on you really quickly with First Order, so you have to make sure that BB-8's faster. If he is, then you're probably going to get ahead of everybody and win. Paplu again, he's the fast one there. Vader throws his dots down, lands dots. Saber throws them off, and then EP gets granted 15% turn meter and everybody else on the team. And so you have to calculate that in if you're going against Night Sisters or First Order with Vader EP teams, with EP lead. Thrawn, you can use Thrawn to outspeed anyone. He's got a beautiful base speed. Nest too, sorry, should be on here. You guys are getting the first workshops. There's a couple of omissions. Thrawn and Nest, you can turn meter swap with anyone. So really, if you have Thrawn on your team, everybody is as fast as Thrawn is. And Nest can remove turn meter with her AoE. And she's got a crazy fast base speed. Poe. We talked about Poe already. And then just if you're doing mirror matches, you have to check the speeds of your tunes. A little trick that I love to use is to not put my fastest speed set on First Order Officer. So if people are lazy and they only check First Order Officer, they're like, oh, cool. This First Order Officer is only 230, whereas my Kylo Ren is like 248. And they come in and they're like, oh, Jesus, like, why is Kylo going? And now everybody's got 20% turn meter, and then my First Order Officer is going, and then they're screwed. So make sure you check all the speeds of your tunes when you're going on offense. Anything else to add there? We're going a little
Rock'em sock'em.
Rock'em sock'em. Okay, potency check. Again, we've mentioned a lot of these already. I'm not going to talk about them again, but that's just those are the potency checks that you need to make before you go into facing a team. Now, on this side, here's your tenacity checks if you want to protect against these teams. If you're in a guild GP bracket where you're facing Traya and guilds are taking you down with magma, put a bunch of freaking tenacity on your scion, and then screw that. It's not happening. It's very, very easy to tech. Is the potency tenacity wars. That's what's going on right now. That's what Territory Wars and Grand Arena is all about. Okay, there's our hard counters. I think we can go. I don't know if we really want to talk about these very much because there's so much to talk about. We're going to do some more videos. This is just a slide for you guys. I would love if you don't share this stuff with other people just because we created it for you guys, and it's really detailed. I've put like a lot of notes in here so that you guys remember what we talked about and such. And we haven't made a counter sheet because, I don't know, we just haven't made a counter sheet. They'll get around everywhere, but
well, nobody would listen to my nonsense either.
Yeah.
It's just so.
Yeah,
use Farboy Luke to do what? Get out of here.
Yeah. But this is for you guys, and we'll add to this as well, I think. But the little stars indicate something that basically what I consider like a softer counter. This is something that that I will say. I don't know if I'm being like a sound like a dictator here because it is like a very much collaborative experience. But there, I have put my foot down for a few things. Like no more Zeta Fin unless you're really freaking good at it, and then I'm going to turn a blind eye, but I'm not calling for Zeta Fin. I'm not calling for Bastila against CLS. I'm not calling for EP against Ray unless we're desperate, right? Unless it's like, oh my gosh, like how do we take down this zone? We used our counters up or whatever. It just doesn't happen very often. But, you know, you will lose with the starred counters. And Rogue One is empty because I have no freaking idea how to beat them. Should probably fill that in before the next workshop.
Buff immunity, buff and healing immunity. Shut that team down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some suggestions. It would be great. And then, so those are the stars. The stars are the softer counters. If you can plan around not using a softer counter, the hard counters are really, if you have your team modded, you know, even half-assed, it's gonna be a win. Maybe Thrawn Magma needs a star,
what wins territory wars at the highest level is efficiency, and Grand Arena is such a small map that it's going to 100% of the time. I mean, it's going to be based not 100, but more times than not, it will be based on efficiency and how well you can tackle these teams. And you guys, we're going to learn a lot the next week or two in these Grand Arenas. They're going to be running constantly. There's no break. It's Grand Arena every other day for the rest of our Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, careers.
No, they don't think they're going to run Grand Arena and Territory Wars at the same time.
Yeah, it's every day.
No, I don't think so.
Who cares if they run Grand Arena and Territory Wars at the same time?
I don't think they're going to.
Well, hopefully not. But if in case they do, we have lots of practice in this game mode. It's every other day, so we will start to see trends, what people are using, and there's going to be, just like the arena meta, there's going to be a Grand Arena meta for defense and Grand Arena meta for offense. So that will develop. I don't know if Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes will track it, but we will sure as hell track it. because I think both of us are extremely excited about this game mode. I recorded my first one, pretty much the full run, and posted in the resources chat for you guys. I'll try to do that for most of them. Yeah.
All right, that is the end. I'm sorry we ran so late on that stuff. I probably should have carved the guild specific stuff off into another workshop. So sorry about that. We really wanted to keep it tight to half an hour, but the offense went an hour. So that's the end of the workshop. We are going to stream good old Maurice's Grand Arena battles right now, right?
Yeah, well, we'll play a few. Yeah, kind of practice what we preach. I'm sure I'm gonna go in here and embarrass myself. That's all right.
And maybe if you guys want to ask some questions, we're going to try and let him, because talking and battling at the same time is never a good idea. So we'll try and let him focus on that. And though you're really good at talking things through, you could have been a sportscaster, I think.
Yeah, well, no one does it as well as Ramon Azab, though. He is the king of
Is he?
chatting and playing. Oh man, poor fella.
All right.
What's up, man?
Are y'all done?
We're done with like the workshop. I guess we're just gonna hang out and stream some of the gameplay.
Word.
I'm looking at your screen. Do you want to bring up your game?
Yeah. Hold on. All right, there we go.
Okay, just give me 2 seconds here to.
Pretend you guys cannot see who I'm facing. I have no idea how he did. If any of you guys are in the same GP range,
I'll just take his name off of there. I think that'll be okay.
He did very, very well. Is it showing my screen now on the YouTube?
No, it's not yet. No, I'll need another few minutes here.
I'm gonna close down the YouTube. I'm not gonna be able to. But he did very, very well. I did not. I was hoping my front zone here would do a little better. basically, we're gonna have he's put Kira, he's put First Order in the bottom, and then he's put Rogue One. He said you didn't know how to beat Rogue One. Hopefully, I don't blow that since I so confidently answered it. It's just but Darth Maul and then some junky bounty hunter team. Is it on the screen now?
It is not. I think that it's good though. Let me just. I'm just
Basically, a few of us were talking about this in the chat earlier. I think a lot of the key to Grand Arena is going to be just the element of what the hell is that, and then not knowing what to use, kind of underestimating. Like this team here, it's a 4-star Django Fett with a pimped out Greedo and 88, but then a 4-star Aura Singh and Royal Guard.
Okay, you're on the screen.
I've never seen this team before. Doesn't look very intimidating, but I don't want to use trash and just go in there and because if he wakes up tomorrow and sees that team held twice, I don't want to give him that satisfaction, right? So I'll probably use way overkill for that one.
Did you hear me say you're on the screen now?
Is it up?
Yeah, it's up now.
All right, we'll try this First Order team first. So we talked about, I think earlier, kind of scouting the opposition. If we didn't, I might have made it up. But basically, if you look at the opponents, like if you're in TW, you look at the opponents and they have stacked Ewoks, right? Barris is a great option for First Order. This guy did not scout me. I don't have Ewoks, but he put Barris in there anyway, which will leave this team super susceptible to Zeta Finn. I'm saying this, and I'm sure we'll go here and get embarrassed. We'll see.
And it's because you're taking away their speed. What did you call it before? Their
facilitator.
You're taking away their facilitator. So they don't have First Order Officer. What First Order Officer does is he doesn't turn meter swap as his opening move, which is what you would do if you're playing him on offense. What he does with his opening move is he just does a straight shot with his pinning shot. So he will remove, hopefully, turn meter from the opponent. So it's important to mod him with potency. And then if he does remove turn meter, then he will. Are you going in with 4? You cheeky bastard. Okay, let's let him play.
Okay, now right here, this is the key move. If I do not expose crew, I'm in for a world of hurt because he'll counter and he'll crit. If he crits, he feeds himself turn meter, and this goes wild. So let's see. I got it. Okay, so we're in good shape. I got buff immunity on him too. And removed all that turn meter with Poe. Another instance of removing turn meter. Let's see. Then you have to manage your turn meter with Zeta Finn. So I have a chance of taking out First Order Executioner, but because Poe does not have much turn meter, I'm going to try to go and just pop an expose, feed some turn meter. So say I got to expose. You always want to leave an expose handy for get out of jail free. There we go. That's all right. Let's see. Let's prevent him from taunting. It's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. All right. Oh, this is not going well now. Let's lose.
Shit.
If I can get out, okay, we're in. All right. Whew, whew, boy, got bailed out there. Get out of here, Executioner. All right. Okay, and now we're going to steamroll this team.
All right.
What?
I said,
yeah. Oh, that guy. I'm like, no BS. I'm sitting here like blushing because I'm here talking so confidently. Yeah. Woo.
There you go. It's landing those stuns on Crew and Kylo, so they can't go cut Crew. Like not unmasked Kylo, but masked Kylo Ren is the engine of this team. Every time he does his stupid little AoE wiggle wiggle move, he feeds 20% turn meter to the whole team. If you can dedicate a whole bunch of speed to him, he gets nasty, super nasty. And this is also why you want to put a bunch of tenacity on Crew, because hey, if you can't stun either of those dudes, well, you're gonna be in trouble, right? So. Oh, wow.
Ooh, yeah. Boy, Ray just landed the pain.
Sure, Ray is sick, man.
Clack, clack. Oh, not so much there. Now, these two, if you get down to just the Kylos, it can be rather irritating because the Exposed does no damage. And Kylo here, as you can see, just stacks nasty amounts of defense. So it can take a while. There we go. All right.
There, nice.
All right, not bad for starting out there.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is if you have a well developed first order ooh, sweet. If you
Whoa!
if you have a well developed Finn team, as you can see, you can. This is a team you can get a couple extra bonus points because using pilot would not have given me any extra protection in that scenario. So
But you can see how that team can go sideways, right? Like it
yeah,
went
it
both
about did.
ways. Like it went sideways and it got you, and then the RNG went for you too. So it's
I really
exciting.
screwed up as if he has Revan in the back, I will probably lose because these are my two Revan counters right here, my Night Sisters and Revan. So we're gonna get through Kira here just to see what he's got in the back because I don't want to use up stuff. What to use against this team? And this is kind of you guys want to utilize your mod or your squad loadouts.
How is your
Here.
Treya modded? Do you think it's possible for you to take down a Revan with your Treya?
I don't have Bastila.
Not
Dark
even
side
a gear 8?
Bastila.
You don't have her gear
Huh?
8?
She's 2-star gear 8 with no mods on her. Yeah, she's one of the ones I neglected to. I got a good bounty hunter squad. I don't want to use it because if there's Night Sisters back there, we'll just use EP. How about that? Let's see. We'll use this, and we will use. Aha. All right. I don't want. I'm gonna use IPD not to blow up anybody, just to prevent the buff. So I got the Zeta on IPD. And let's see who else we can use.
Probably.
Oh
need
yes,
somebody to
okay.
get the
We're
damage.
facing Mission and Zalbar, right? And he has a Zeta on Zalbar, so I need to use Shore Trooper because they're going to be countering and just they don't do much damage. His aren't well geared, but they will drop massive amounts of dots. This might be a little excessive. I have two forms of buff immunity, but I don't have any other use really for TIE Fighter pilot anywhere else. Let's try it. We'll see. All right, so here we go. Okay, L3 cannot taunt now, so I have a huge advantage.
Nice.
if L3 is
That's
not taunting.
awesome.
Yeah,
So now you want to not touch L3, right? Because
that is correct.
Yeah, because
See, I want to stun here, but I don't. I'm actually gonna. I'm gonna go for the shock on Zalbar to try to prevent a taunt. So now they got nobody that can taunt.
That's awesome. That's a great situation.
That saber's not gonna kill anybody. I'm gonna try to ability block Kira here, so she can't dispel my buff immunity. Successful, and that'd almost be a waste to use there. I'm gonna save that. And see, they can't get any of their buffs. This is the Kira teams, the scoundrels. This team in particular is a very buff dependent team. No whammies, no whammies. Oh, that's all right.
So close.
All right, now we want to. Zalbar's about to go. We can't have him taunt.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there. No more Vandor because that guy is super annoying. Oh, that was stupid. Let's just get rid of her, I guess. Yeah, this team was not the best. But that last week on our stream, we had a team. I think Short Trooper had like 24 dots or something on him, and now I just got to get through these annoying tanks. And the Zeta IPD has got target lock and everybody. They're now all basically buffing me.
Sorry, that's great to use against L3 because because you don't hit her. So if you hit her and put buff immunity on her, then she can just dispel it, right?
Yeah, if you guys are really struggling with this Kira teams, that Zeta IPD will actually do you a lot of good for that very specific reason you just mentioned. Yeah, this is well, I lost some protection on a lot of people, but that's okay. I don't think Zalbar taunted once, so that's good. This is going to take an hour to get a whiff. All right. And yeah. Well, the excessive amounts of buff immunity paid off here.
Well, yeah.
3 is a little excessive, but none of these characters I can really use elsewhere. It's so annoying. I gotta get his health back up. I'm gonna lose a lot of points. Come on. God. Oh my goodness. This is come. If I sweet. Good job. If oh my goodness, L3 is just gonna counter my shore trooper to death. Uh-oh, this is not good. This went sideways quick here. I'm gonna win, but it's not gonna be very clean.
There we go. Okay, okay.
I'm running out of time here.
Don't touch L3 again. No, you're fine. You got 2 minutes
Yeah.
left.
Come on, heal me up. Not quite enough. Suck on that, Zalbar.
Nice. There you go.
Counter. Counter.
So
Counter.
this is an example of maybe when you want to bring in the mechanic of days.
Yeah, well,
she's just like awful. I'm not saying that I would have thought of that beforehand. I'm just saying like.
No, yeah, it's a good. I hope I can kill her in a minute. Jiminy Christmas. All right, he won't land the shock on her. Oh, he's gonna kill Shore Trooper. Oh, that's all right. This is.
Sorry. You need to blow.
I'm gonna time out. This is ridiculous. You son of a. Come on, expose. Oh, just cleanse yourself. That's cool. I'm going to time out. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to kill him. I'm not going to be able to kill her.
You just need one more hit for IPD, and then he can blow her up.
Oh, I mean, I guess, but that's a yeah. I'm going to have to. I can't afford to. Yeah, I can't afford to do that. Just, oh, there we go. I got to. That sucks. That's all right.
That's all right. 50 banners.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got in the back. Please don't be Revan. Please don't be Revan. You guys are. I'm about to embarrass myself if it's Revan. Yes, no Revan. He kept
Yay!
Revan. Oh yes, yes. All right, this is going to be an experimentation team. If it works, I look like a genius. If it doesn't, I just want to give that disclaimer. This is my new Night Sister counter I've been working on. So maybe you guys learned something new. All right. All right. I got a Zedon 88, and Zedon 88 is phenomenal.
Tell us
My
what
boss
it is.
is lightning fast. Hopefully I get to go first. I do. So suck on this. I do have the double Zeta, so even if when Asajj cleanses it, it will come right back. Now, underneath this Zam Wessel lead, if you guys don't know, it's very similar to Talzin. Anytime I use a special ability, it will drop a bomb, just like Talzin does her Plague. And now I have an element of healing immunity as well with 88's whatever it's called, basic attack. See, I'm gonna have bombs everywhere. There is some elements of protection regeneration. Hopefully, I don't lose this battle. That's ability block, I guess, right? Yeah. All right, now. Oh man, I only landed 2. But here they go. They will start dropping here, hopefully in a second.
And you can see them also. They'll regain their health back when a bomb goes off.
Yeah. Like I need to. Oh, they're gonna kill my boss. Oh, yeah, this is gonna go bad. It's all right. I've got a couple to play with here.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Dispel that. I was trying to get her down before she went. That's ball game. That's unfortunate. All right, well, this team clearly needs some more work.
Shit. That Ventress is hitting really hard. Oh, are you gonna...
Am I gonna what?
Retreat?
No.
No? Oh, yeah, you almost had him down.
So, I don't know what to do for that team. All right, we're just gonna leave that team hanging out. Oh, let's see. This is a really, really weak Bastila team. That's garbage. This guy clearly just went all heavy on defense. I got a hold on my Revan, and I got a hold on my First Order. So I do have a battle to play with, I guess. I still have Treya in hand. Let's see. Let's use Trey on this mall team. Or should I use Trey on the sisters? I don't know.
I would maybe. What, do you have CLS in hand?
Yes.
I would use.
Yeah. It seems so excessive. These teams are not. Yes. You know what? I'm not even playing games with these.
You're gonna try the sisters. Don't CLS the sisters.
Oh, come on.
No. Don't CLS the sisters. No. CLS Trey the sisters. Trey the sisters and.
Should I be ballsy and go 4-man?
Yeah.
Try to make up some of those points.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Probably go 3.
If I lose because of this, I will blame you for the rest of eternity.
There's no way you can lose.
Is anybody watching this, or just like me and you bantering? I don't know. I don't care either way.
Me neither. It's too exciting for me to look at chat. I'll come and look at chat. Sorry, guys.
I was really excited about that Zam team. That was unfortunate. All right. There we go. Uh-oh. This is going not good.
No.
All
It's
right.
fine. It's fine. There's no way they can get you.
Whoa, sister. Let's, yeah.
Duck.
This is probably a dumb move. I don't know if I really ever played the Night Sisters with my Atreya team, to be honest.
Yeah, I play them all the time. It's impossible. You might lose Sith Trooper. That's it. The trick is that you need Nihilus to have a few debuffs on him, and then he gets so tanky.
If I can get out with Scion having protection, that'd be nice. Cleanse that, or dispel that, rather. I've killed, what, 1 or 2? Have I killed both already?
Don't know.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. Get out of here, zombie. Oh, it's on now, sucker. All right, who do I want to one-shot? Oh, I don't have the move. Let's,
Hit Daka.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah. That might have been dumb.
No, that's the way. Get her.
I need that. No. Okay, that's acceptable. Yeah, this is a wrap. Ha, Sith Trooper killing somebody. That would be a sight for sore eyes. What? Oh, I didn't use it. Okay, well, she's dead now. Clack! Oh, that was weak. my Scion used to hit like a dump truck, and I've stripped all the mods off these guys. Come on. Like, I keep thinking I'm in trouble, and then I'm not. So
No, that's the nature of this team. It's just not gonna go down because of the heals. And now you've got some like plagues landed on Darth Nihilus a couple of times, so it's just impossible for them to kill the sisters. For the sisters to kill him.
That is true. If I get the hell out of here, thank you. I might get enough health regeneration just from this attack. Not quite. All right, I got to try to get him up to full health. So, try to get all the points I can. Let's stall a little bit. Oh, I forget. I keep forgetting about this. It's been so long since I used Treya. Let's see if I can get some protection. You think I can heal myself all the way up protection-wise? Probably not. Not even close. All right, well. All right. Looking good. Looking good for me now. All right, what next? Who do I want to use CLS on? I really should have saved my Treya for this mall team.
No, I think that you could CLS that.
All right, well,
Do you have
we're
R2?
going to try.
Do you have R2? You have R2? What I would do is I would put R2 in place of Cholo so that he can use his burn so that Maul's not going to dodge on you. I know that you like Cholo.
I'm gonna ignore you. All right. Well,
Don't you dare.
let's just. Ooh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Mm,
Yeah,
That
you
was
can
kind
do
of a
it. You can do
waste.
it. Get her. Get her.
I'm not gonna kill her.
Yeah, you will.
Weak. What a weak move. Weak sauce. Dooku, you little. Okay. Oh, okay. There's always the threat of timing out when Dooku's around, just for his little dancing moves. So we'll just get take care of him. All right. That's that. All right. Oh, don't. Oh, they don't messed up. Let Short Trooper or. Oh,
There you go.
God.
Get Nest. Get Nest with
No,
Cholo.
no.
Get Nest with Cholo.
He's not gonna kill him.
Yeah, she will totally
No,
die.
I'm gonna
She's got
cleanse
5
CLS
bar of
and go
health.
for the. I'm not gambling with Ness.
Oh, sorry,
Get
I
out of
didn't
here.
see. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Right.
just. Oh, let's see. Pluck, pluck. Oh, he's got that daze.
Days?
This was a little excessive for this team, but I confess to not being very strong against Maul.
Freaking hate Maul. Everyone hates Maul. Oh my god, your Han. Your Han's pretty hot, I gotta say.
Whoop. All right.
Oh, you know what you should have done? You should have done. Did he have his AoE?
Well, you wanted me to finish with some pizzazz?
No, because he would have healed them.
Well, yeah. Yeah, damn, you're right. I think I used it already. All right, Rogue One. This poor Rogue Ones. Oh, I got Death Trooper in hand. I got a whole nother Empire team in my hand here.
Yeah, that's gonna fall.
What?
You're gonna use your pimp?
Yeah.
This is pimp
100%.
boner. Saying boner all the time is gonna take as much getting used to as saying tits.
What?
Like Tits McVenom.
Oh, yeah.
Like after a while, it's just like
All right.
you don't see it anymore.
Honestly, I have no idea if this is going to work or not.
Oh, of course it's gonna work.
Huh?
I said, of course it's gonna work. You're getting full protection. Just that stupid dude. You're just gonna have to wait for Short Trooper every time.
Yeah. What's Short Trooper? I don't have Short Trooper.
Snow.
I got Snow
sorry.
Trooper. Yeah, I'm going to take Jen out just from AoEs. She's pretty weak. Yeah, they can't get through my Stormtrooper. That's not something that normally happens. Stormtrooper is not known for his just durability. Good night, Rogue One.
Now you just have to try and manage so you can get full protection on your guy. Might not be able to.
Yeah, I'm actually doing pretty well protection-wise.
Yeah, it's just everybody but Storm.
Yeah. Well, the purple doesn't count, I don't think, for the bonus, does it?
It does, yeah. I think so.
Oh, it
counts as
does?
full. I think so, yeah. We'll see. This will be a good test.
Yeah.
Kill him before it retires on them.
Okay. There, now I should have... Yeah, sure. It's not... Oh, well, okay, well, that's that.
Full protection units.
Okay, yeah, I had 4
Yep.
full protection units. Okay, cool. All right.
That's another.
Well,
great
we're down to
reason.
this team.
That's another.
I'm
Great
tempted
reason.
just to go nuts on this.
You better
Oh,
check the speeds on that guy. You got to check the speeds on him.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. What if
On this
Django's really
team?
fast?
Django
Yeah.
can.
Django has a really
Whew,
high base
blistering
speed.
219 speed.
Okay.
With the leadership.
I have to say
30.
that I'm like freaking out inside because you're not checking the speeds of all these. Maybe you checked beforehand.
Yeah, I've checked ahead of time. Yeah, I know. Yes, yeah. We're not gonna do a Grand Arena workshop and just me going all careless. I did check ahead of time.
Okay.
So I still have a Thrawn Empire team. I still have Nest. I still have. Look at all this nonsense.
I wonder if you could take down that bounty hunter team with Nest. I'm just thinking, is there any? Okay, well,
I don't know. I don't feel like I have too much. Okay, so I'm down almost 700 points exactly. So I'll get
hey,
150.
can you go over to your zones? Does it say how many points he got on each of them?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
I looked. Yeah, because I don't know how he did. I'm a little nervous about fleets. We'll see what he placed. Hopefully he placed Team Money Special Geonosians. Okay, well, I don't really know why I'm thinking so hard about this.
That's Ray. You want to Ray that?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I would bring in Thrawn with it. If you have another team.
I used all my resistance, didn't I? No, I didn't. This is not good. No, get out of here. All right, who should be the fifth?
No. Thrawn.
Thrawn?
Absolutely. And then you fracture old Ben.
Yeah, okay. And I can do the protection. Okay, good call. Yeah, I can if somebody gets hit. Okay.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Yeah, for Ray teams, I'm just not saying this for you, but like for Ray teams, like there's 2 tanks here theoretically, but Mace's taunt is going to go away. So what I don't like fighting.
What to do here?
I would just
basic
fracture.
attack.
What? Why not just fracture?
Come on, Mace. What you doing, Mace? Getting all gangster. All right. Uh-oh. If I lose. Oh, man. All right.
Stun. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You could really use some of that.
Remember.
Yeah, let's get it.
Anakin, I'll
Get him, B2. Boom! 1,100 damage. Get him. I should have gone for Ayla just because she's annoying. Uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, well, that takes care of that. Can't stun her. I guess I can stun old Ben, maybe? Nope, can't do that either. I'm going to lose BB-8. I need to quit forcing taunt on him. Who do I fracture?
I would fracture Ayla at this point.
Yeah, I guess so. Not very good with Ray, I guess. I need to practice up. There we go. Give me some health and protection back. Toasty! B2 finally gets to go. There we go. Lots of buff immunity. 1.
Well, if you can slow the battle down a little bit and let Thrawn regenerate protection on BB-8.
Let's see. I'm going to, yeah, because he'll. I got that Zeta on him, so if he can keep that foresighting, let's see if we can get him to full health at least. Yeah, this is another 4 protection. No, well, so much for that. All right.
That's a badass.
I'll take it.
You got there too.
Yeah, you don't need speed in every situation. Sometimes offense is better. All right, now let's see what. No, offense. Let's see what OP team I can bring in. How about Nest?
Do you want to do the calculations to see if you can do this conservatively or not?
Okay, so I will get 210 plus, we'll say 50 just to be safe. 50, 90, 140 plus 210. That's 350. Did I do that right?
Yep.
350, and then how much you get for ships? Oh yeah, conquering it.
Plus
You know what? We'll bring in a
153,
couple characters.
66. Did you do the math that fast? You freaking math brain, man. What? 15,
Let's see what I got in this department.
3, 6, 9, 5, 10.
Yeah, not
16,
much.
569. Is that what it is? You have 569 points, and how many points do you have now? What are you doing?
What?
I forgot your Lando's gear 11 and probably, or sorry, gear 12 and probably geared. Sorry, that was really rude.
Let's run some fun stuff. What a stupid team this is. All right. Okay. Here we go. Oh. It's been so long since I fought Royal Guard, I don't even really know what to do. Yeah, why not? Raise some blood as fools. Oh, I should have given him prepared. That was stupid. Oh, he's got it now. Now you guys get to watch Young Han in all of his glory. He goes a lot. Let's just let's give protection up to Stormtrooper Han. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know much about young Lando or young Han, as you can see, he just gave full protection back to Stormtrooper Han. Very, very good option for Grand Arena here. This team is awful. There we go.
Need someone to hit nest.
I hear people dropping out of the Discord. Must be super compelling. I don't really. Yeah, I might get another chance. I probably could have taken this out with just Nest, but that's all right. Show him, Lando. All right, the moment of truth. Oh yeah,
167.
the moment of truth. Yes. My geos are better than your geos.
So, what was I gonna say? If you have empty slots here in your reinforcements, it's the same. It's the same. I'm not saying.
When I placed, let's see. Ooh, not very many tanks. Where the hell are all my tanks? I must use Biggs. No, I don't have Biggs.
Yeah,
did
Biggs
I place
is up.
them all?
Biggs is up right there.
All right. I don't think I can lose though. I don't think I can. I can't. I don't think I can afford to lose the battle.
Yeah. Can we just do the points one more time? How much?
Yeah,
is
I'm down. We'll say 200 points.
66,
Oh yeah. Well,
153.
153 I'll get from
So
the.
6, 12, 15,
This is actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
14,
All right.
9.
He did really, really well on all. He kept everything, as you could see, which is, I guess, kind of flattering to some extent.
16.
Oh, I forgot you guys could see my calculator here. So I need 193 points. So I just need to go in there and win. All right. I can't be fooling around. A win, and the territory should give it to me, correct? 193 points.
Yes.
So there's no point in getting too flashy. That's just cocky of
so.
me.
I think so. Can we just do the math? 153 is the territory. And then a win will give you probably 50. Yeah.
Biston, Reaper, Poe. Biston is a little arrogant of me.
As he puts it in anyway.
Is that Clone Sergeant? Oh, Rex's garbage ship. His ship sucks. I don't care. It's pretty bad.
What about the silencer or the slicer? I can never remember what it's called. You could take in Boba instead of. What?
I think he's got Tarkin too. Yes, yes. So his Tarkin is better than mine. So we need to. I really need to get that Reaper in there. Okay.
Come on, buffs. Awesome.
What'd you say?
I was just hoping for your buffs, your debuffs.
That was probably a silly. Oh, yeah. Get out of here. Yeah, my Geos are pretty pimped out. That was my ship fleet for the longest time. This looks to be like a mirror match almost. Well, that's kind of stupid. They got no way to. Oh man. So now, if I don't use the reinforcements, does it give me
No.
bonus points?
No. Don't die. Nice.
This was pretty anticlimactic. It's all right. Well, that was an ass whooping in the ship part. All right, 1-0, baby. 1-0.
Nice.
Is there anybody even in the? Oh, there's still people in here. Okay. You guys got any questions or anything?
Yeah, I did a really bad job at taking questions. I'll go back and look now. So you need
Well, there is we did make a little feedback survey because we want to do these once a month and want to rotate the topics and stuff. Just kind of a feedback survey, how we can improve, make it a little more efficient, maybe make it a little more informative. So as if I can find the link for that, I'll stop mirroring my screen. Is that all right with everybody?
Yeah, I took you off of there anyway.
All right. So let me see if I can find that.
Oh, sorry. Saka, somebody's... Oh, you... Okay, good. Thank you. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, I mean, we can chitty chat now if you guys want.
Yeah. Everything. I put Mace. That was a mistake. I should have put Thrawn, but I put Houndstooth. I put Houndstooth, Fives, and Vader as the starting 3. Then I think I used Phantom, Clone Sergeant, Plo Koon, and somebody. I don't remember maybe Anakin. I think I might have put Anakin, it wasn't the best defense. I thought it was gonna be a lot stronger. He beat the brakes off it one battle. Yeah, it wasn't.
I didn't say anything.
Combination of Reaper. I left myself Reaper.
You should repeat the question so that people who are listening to this after know what the question was.
How do I kill Houndstooth without Houndstooth? Yeah, just I left myself a lot of Dispel and buff immunity. I got Wedge. I've got Gauntlet. I've got Reaper. I had Cassian. I think there's another buff immunity too that I have. No, that's it. That's pretty much all I left myself. And I would have used all of them if I had to.
Well, you didn't know it was in reinforcements, so Houndstooth could have come out of reinforcements, right?
Yeah. Houndstooth isn't a terrible play out of reinforcements either. I mean, it's not optimal, but he comes in if you got that reinforcement ability maxed out. He grants a lot of tenacity. So if you do bring in Houndstooth out of reinforcements, that Gauntlet Starfighter's buff immunity gets very, very, unimpressive. It's difficult to land the healing and the buff immunity on Houndstooth out of reserve on any of the ships, really. So it's be an interesting tactic, maybe, perhaps. Like put your Geonosians up front. That way you get super excited, like I just did. And they bring in Houndstooth. I'm like, ugh. And then my excitement just dwindles. I was a little nervous. I was going to embarrass myself. If I would have lost that first order match, or I was getting cocky with 4 characters, I would have lost. So that was. So I'm glad that worked out okay.
Would you have lost? Was that the points difference? It's 20.
I would have lost 20 points.
20 points, yeah.
Yeah, I would have lost. Let me see here.
First try, second try, I would have lost 20 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like-
no, I guess not. He did lose twice. So, yeah.
It's really like
Yeah,
I was
he's
saying
been-
on the stream the other night, like folks who are 4 million and above have a lot, the matches are going to be a lot closer all the time. Like I'm matched up with 8 people right now, and I think, I don't know if anybody has Revan. Maybe one person has Revan, and there's one close match with somebody who's in like a TW focused guild. Who'll definitely, I'll have to be really.
Oh, this
on-
guy is in
on the
PvP
game.
Elite. PvP Elite's a very good guild. This
Yeah.
is super nice. My opponent's a super nice guy. He like reached out. He's been chatting. He's super excited. He was like messaging me, like asking me when I was going to attack because I guess he wanted to see how it went before he went to sleep. So super nice guy, and that's good to see. They started that Grand Arena server, and I left just because if it's anything like the TW server, I'm not a big fan of that server. It's kind of toxic. I hope the Grand Arena server is not the same, but so many people. It's over the internet. People are poor winners and losers sometimes. So
Yeah, we had a couple people like talk about us starting one, and Mindtrix and I were chatting about it, and then I was just like, "There's no way I could manage that. It could be great and friendly and awesome, but we have some ideas for Grand Arena content in our server too, so that's probably a better use of our time."
Where was that? Here it is. I think this is it. If you guys do have some time, please do fill out this feedback. It will help. This is the first one we've done. We've got another one on Saturday. So, even if just a handful of you fill it out now, that can help us for Saturday. I hope you guys learned something. I mean, hope it wasn't a lot of content, and the stream will be available for you guys to rewatch if you want to. Maybe jot down some of those slides. Maybe bring them back to your guild. But yeah, try not to just like openly post it in your general chats if you
No,
if you
don't post
mind.
it.
You're more than welcome to post it in like your private chats.
Are you?
But no, you're not. Apparently not. That was I misspoke. All right, Prime Force has asked several times when we're doing the 3PO unboxing stream.
I don't know. We were talking about it today, and if we don't it's quite a long. For me, it's not very late. It's only mid 1 in the morning, but for good Maurice, it's really really early in the morning. So
yeah, it's 3 a.m. and like I was telling her, like if I get in there, like I'm trying to go the bare minimum, and like tried a couple times. If I can't beat it, slap some gear on and try it again. So I'll stay up till 7 o'clock in the morning playing it because if I start it, I won't stop until I get him. So hoping to do it, and plus I'd like to be kind of fresh, so I do save some gear because I like the Ewoks. They're a great faction. I just don't have mods to give a new team right now. I'm trying to develop my other teams. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know if like there's so many people streaming it tonight. If we don't stream it tonight, then we probably won't stream it.
Yeah, that's on you. That's your call. I unfortunately have to sit it out because if I lose my job, I can't go into work late tomorrow. I'll be like, oh, why are you late this time? Oh, I just end up getting C3PO. Grown ass man going into work looking like,
Dragging
oh,
his butt, yeah.
I'd almost have to tell them that I went out and partied too hard last night just because I'd be too embarrassed to tell them that I stayed up till 4 a.m. playing a video game. But that was kind of fun. I'd like to stream these a lot. I think I don't know.
So I just typed in all caps.
Yeah. I hope it was helpful, guys. Let us know what you think. Yeah. Anybody have any questions or anything before we wrap it up here? There will be another one Saturday. You guys are more welcome to come back for that one as well.
It'd be pretty similar to this one, but
Sorry, Nuja. I can't see you in the chat, in the voice. All right, yes. We'll probably have to cut this last part off from the recorded stuff. I will stop this recording right now, and hopefully it works, and that will be available to people after the fact. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking with us. I do also hope that it was useful to you. And yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
about
thanks
it.
a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Don't really have anything important to ask because all my opponents are not good at the game, but still fun to watch.
Awesome.
I'm a little disappointed how poor, like, who was he trying to fool with that Jango Fett team? I mean, that was out there. Trial and error, I guess.
Yeah, and you never know.
He had me nervous, boy. He had me nervous. He dusted my defenses.
Yeah, well, your
He did.
roster would have had me a little nervous coming up against you. 300 and whatever many mods you have, double-digit mods.
Well,
Yeah.
speed isn't everything, though. You know, if you guys don't have the secondary speed, you know, for arena, doesn't mean you can't build good grand arena teams. You just gotta utilize that turn meter. Don't don't put Barris in with first order unless they have Ewoks.
Yeah.
Don't do that. The end. Don't field Jango Fett with Gear 8 Royal Guard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for all the support. So we're gonna try to do these once a month for you. Just let us know how we can improve them, if you enjoyed it, so on and so forth.
And we have some ideas for our next workshops, but if you guys are desperate for anything, let us know. And yeah. All right. We're like so bad at ending stuff, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You guys have a good night.
Okay, take care.
Thank you, guys.
So goodbye.